It's finally October, which means it's the season for olive harvesting, a yearly celebration of flavor and culture. In Mediterranean cuisine, olive oil is the foundation and a staple ingredient in most, if not every meal. Today, I've joined my friend Karim on his land. Karim is not your typical olive farmer. He's a former finance guy who decided to follow his passion for food. A few years ago, Karim took over his family's ancestral land in Kour, where he has poured his heart and soul into creating Solar, a high-quality, certified, extra virgin olive oil brand. He has kindly agreed to guide me through the olive oil production process. Now let's go harvesting!
The hand picking technique was done from millennials. That's like how they started, and it's a very traditional way of doing things. But it preserves like the flowers for the next year, and you don't break any branches. You don't dent the olive, because one thing that we have to remember is like once the olive leaves the branch, the oxidization process starts. So the more it oxidizes, the more acidity you'll have in the extra virgin olive oil, which means healthy components that are kind of overshadowed.
How long does it take for the tree to bear fruit? And how long does it take for the fruit to mature, for them to be able to pick it?
So it takes about 6 to 7 years for an olive tree to start producing fruits.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So half of September, the olives were green. At the end of October, they will all be black.
Okay.
So it goes from green to yellowish, purple, and then to black. So this process is the most important process. We choose the olives that we want to use and discard the ones that we don't want, because in order to get a really high quality extra virgin olive oil, the acidity has to remain low. And in order for that to happen, you have to discard a lot of olives that have dried, olives that have insects in them, or olives that are already dented. And that's coming back to the oxidization process. So we just pick all these olives and put them in a different crate. And that crate, again, we don't throw anything. That crate, we sell it to people that actually want to make soap with it.
Okay.
And this is a process that it's kind of like, again, labor intensive and tedious. We're organic, we don't use any pesticides, so a lot of flies are attracted by olives. And we lose about like 20 to 30% of our production every year. And it's a lot more work, but I mean, you're actually ingesting a product that is
Good for you.
really good for you.
But now I understand more and more why olive oil is extra virgin olive oil is expensive.
Again, it's like a lot of work, a lot of hours, and a lot of care. At least for the ones that actually take the time to
do this.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna just share
Okay.
some knowledge here. So extra virgin olive oil is anti-inflammatory because of, well, thanks to its polyphenols and vitamin E antioxidants. It is good for brain health because of the oleic acid, since we've mentioned before. It's a monounsaturated fat that helps with cognitive decline. Correct.
Basically, the compound that is like really a godsend is oleocanthal compounds. You get like high quantities of that when you deal with green olives. So all this pepperiness, tanginess, and like scratch in the throat that you get, that's the concentration of polyphenols. That comes from that molecule, which is oleocanthal.
Okay.
And the higher you get, the higher the sensation, it means that the higher like concentration there is and the higher benefits you have. And that's why I only deal in green olives.
Okay.
So basically, how do you differentiate from different types of extra virgin olive oil? So usually you can take into consideration the organoleptic components of extra virgin olive oil, which are basically comprised of 3 elements: the color, the viscosity, fluidity, and the fragrance. A good extra virgin olive oil usually has, as simple as it may sound, it smells like olives. If it smells like olives, then it's a good indicator. Second, once you pour it, there has to be like a certain viscosity to it. It has to have a certain consistency. So that's the second indicator. The third indicator is the color. Of course, the greener means the fresher. Then it turns to a yellow, but it's a yellow that is like darker. If you see like an olive oil that is like almost transparent, and I mean, just like it's too diluted, or it's an olive oil that dates like 3 years.
Okay.
So those are the three major components to actually see if you have like a really good extra virgin olive oil.
Well, now I'm getting very hungry. So shall we go make the aglio olio that you promised me? Okay,
Let's
awesome.
go.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers. This should be enough. Yes, ça suffit.
Un verre?
Let's eat, people.
Let's eat. So good.